two, three. One, two, three. Let's go.
Welcome to a very, very special crypto. This is AZcrypto, Mr. Phono. Mr. Phono, Luna has done it again. And you keep yelling out Luna, and your wife keeps getting confused, but nothing to worry about again. Gotta remind her. Gotta get her to watch the show because Luna went crazy today, all-time high. Got to 104.85. Didn't quite get to 110 yet, but the month is still young. Even though the market is unsteady, Luna is just on fire. You can just say this girl is on fire, as they used to like to say back in the day. And I got nothing left to say, but if you're not in Luna, you're doing it wrong, because this went from 495 up to 100 and went back down into the 40s. We're now sitting at 97.55, but it's just cooling off. Don't worry. 2.4 billion volume over the last 24 hours. I still feel pretty good about that 110 before the end of the month. Anytime BTC shows any type of strength, this just explodes. The burns are amazing. Just every day this coin is burning. The tokenomics are something to behold. And I had someone text me today say, I can't believe I'm not in this project. And I said, we've been talking about this for a month. We talked about it in the beginning. It was in the draft, one of the drafts we've done, and we've talked about it and said this has the best tokenomics, and you've got to be in this coin at some point, I think, over the next 2 years. Otherwise, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Unbelievably, total supply is around 767 million. Just yesterday, today, total supply change, 702,000 tokens were burned. Okay, let's think about that. That's a beautiful thing. And so when the stable coin needs to be used, Luna burns. And so really they're looking out for you, the consumer. That's the way it goes. Again, I'm sticking to my 500 prediction by 2024-25 bull run, and I think that's conservative. I might up that later, but for now I'm sticking to the 500. What are your thoughts on Luna?
I love Luna. And one thing I wanted to mention is that, you said your friend was upset that they didn't get in. We know this market is volatile. We saw a 10% jump today in BTC. We've seen Luna run, and we've seen it down as low as what we think the floor is 51, and what, 390 this summer. So there will be opportunities to get back into Luna. You just have to pay close attention and watch the channel. But I think it's a great project. And I think, like I said, I think there'll be other opportunities to jump back in.
Okay. I want to talk about a new project that we really haven't discussed very much. I did it as a flip, and it is Flow.
Well, Flow blockchain is an interesting project. A lot of people consider them to be just an NFT project, but they've got a few things in gaming, and they've got their irons in a lot of fires. And I don't think that they are just going to be an NFT company in the end. As a matter of fact, their CEO just was on, I forget what podcast or what channel he was on the other day, but he was mentioning that they're not just an NFT company, that they will be branching out much further than that. But they have some great partnerships. NBA Top Shot, CryptoKitties clogged up Ethereum a couple of years ago. They were actually doing things with the Beijing Olympics. They've got UFC and NFL partnerships that have been
coming up. Not yet there. So that's
So they've got some great things going on. And Flow is the native currency of the network. It fuels the network, which is good. We like tokens that have utility. And so in order to develop on the Flow blockchain, you have to purchase Flow to get the job done. So NBA Top Shot, NFC, NFL, Beijing Olympics, all of these organizations are the organizations that were minting NFTs or collectibles They were all purchasing Flow in order to produce those things on the blockchain. So that's the great part of it. They also have validators. They've got what they call the Cloudburst partners, the open validator nodes. Those are the ones that also distribute the rewards to developers, partners. Those developers and partners are the floodplain validators, and that's all run by their protocol that they call DRIP, the Decentralized Reputation and Incentive Protocol. Some things that I don't care so much for. Well, first, they do set payouts to their node operators, which I think is good. The problems with some of these is that their payouts deflate or inflate, and that ruins or hinders the tokenomics. But they call themselves non-inflationary in their technical papers. And I have an issue with that because right below that, they start talking about that they will only issue new tokens to make up the difference between transaction fees and guaranteed payment. So if the transaction fees that are coming in don't match the guaranteed payment to the node validators, then they've got to mint new tokens in order to pay them. And if you look on, say, Voyager, and you look at their circulating supply versus the max supply, they've got a 353.93 million circulating supply, but no mention of a max supply.
There is no max supply. That's a problem.
Right. And so that is concerning to me. And then also, if you are a node operator, you have some blockchains that they have slashing penalties for misbehaving nodes or nodes that aren't performing up to speed or for different penalties, but they don't penalize them for all of their tokens. For Flow, you could lose some to all, and it's not specific about the way that they will take the tokens. If you're, what the penalties are specifically for, not validating or not keeping up with the network or maybe misbehaving. So that's another problem with them, but really it's the idea that they say they're non-inflationary, but then also admit that they may have to mint new tokens if the transaction fees are low. So to me, that's a bit of a red flag.
I'm going to put you on the hot seat right now. Our viewers want to know, yay or nay, are you buying tonight if you have the opportunity?
Tonight?
I've got my answer. I want to hear yours first. My answer is clear.
Tonight, I'm not going to buy Flow. I don't think, to me right now in the short term, this is a flip. Unless I believe in Flow long term, I mean, it has a relatively low market cap, so it's going to get destroyed when BTC
I was going to say
down. For me, it's not a purchase right now. I think that's just the way I'm going to go with it.
I think this is a buy during a clear bull market, a great flip for a couple weeks, if not even a month. Right now, with the uncertainty, I'd be careful. It was down in the 460 range earlier, less than a month ago.
And I would be, any of these low market caps, I would be hesitant to hold for a very long
time. But I do want to say, and we're going to be talking about this point in the future, and here's why. When we get wind of the NFL version of Top Shops to come out, I think it will run almost despite what's happening in BTC, unless BTC is so far under, which I don't see. We talked about the floor being 32. So there will be a time, and we'll talk about it on the show. You guys got to stick around and listen to us every week. There might be a couple weeks where this might be an amazing buy, because at one point it was all-time high was, believe it or not, over $44.60. We're at $6. So I believe there will be a period where this thing will explode. So if you did want to buy it now and just hold and wait for that NFL MMA thing to happen, you'd probably be okay. But I think you'd be better off waiting, seeing if this dips. You want to try to maximize your money. There's just other projects right now that I would feel much more comfortable putting my money in long term. But there will be a time where we're going to come on and say, hey guys, it's time to look at Flow. It's just not tonight. So for me tonight, it's a no.
That red flag may turn into a green flag. Let's say if it turns out that, the transaction fees. There's so much traffic on this network that the transaction fees
But
will never fall below
But I
that.
just want to say, I have a feeling the
Reward.
NFL will come out sometime during training camp. So by July-ish, this could be a huge, huge green flag. So you guys got to stick around. And it
Mhm.
might be a short, it might be a 2 to 3 week run where you got to go in pretty heavy non-financial advisors and make an amazing flip. But for now, unless you're comfortable parking your money and just holding on, I'm going to say no buy at all. Market did something extraordinary yesterday before we leave our audience. 8% hike. We are now struggling to stay above 42. We've gotten rejected at 45 twice now this year in the last couple months. We have not been able to get up to 46. Almost everyone in their mother was calling for 32,000 BTC by next week, and that still might happen. That still might happen, especially if we get below 40 again. You might see us crumble, but I don't know. I don't know if I see a 32 BTC. I was hoping we'd get to 48 this month, at least, and some
You would
alternate
have
run.
to see a pretty heavy. I mean, you've already got some pretty bad geopolitical situations that are baked into that price.
Mm-hmm.
And during uncertain times, people run from equities and they run from risky stocks and risky investments. And unfortunately, cryptocurrency is considered a tech stock and a risky stock. And,
For now,
it rides along with equities sort of in the equities market with the volatility. So, I don't see it making another 20% drop. I'd have to see a new variant or something, a new variant of the coronavirus that was
well, let's not talk that into existence.
right. And
Yeah. So
so I just don't see that kind of a drop. I could see 10%, on some news that the situation in Europe is getting worse. But even that said, on both sides of that conflict, you see people sort of gravitating towards cryptocurrency, and you're starting to hear stories of people who are refugees who wouldn't have made it but for the cryptocurrency wallet that they brought with them. There's a story of a man who made it to Poland, and he only had about $600 in his pocket, but he brought his hardware wallet and his little piece of paper that had his passcode on it. He was able to hook up with a crypto ATM in Poland, and he was able to get by for the time.
amazing. That's pretty amazing. That's so shows us how far crypto has gone. And I'm gonna, before I let us go, you didn't know I was gonna do this, but I'm gonna nickname this market the Yogi Bear market. It's a bear market. It's a friendly bear. But you have to call it a bear because a lot of the alts are really struggling. However, BTC, even though yes, it's down obviously from 69K, it's showing a little bit of resilience. It wants to run. It's just there was a lot of manipulation. The retail still isn't completely back in, but the fact that we could get to the 40s during a bear market, think about where BTC was 9K just a few years ago. It shows how far we've come, and it tells everyone, hang in there. If you're not making money right now, for us, Luna's kind of saving our portfolio for now. Otherwise, we'd be in big trouble. So don't give up.
My portfolio ever since I started in crypto, so
Don't give up is what we're trying to tell everybody. And we will see better days ahead. Who knows?
And
Maybe
I'm gonna do a little bit better on your bear reference there. I think this is more for those Jimmy Buffett fans out there, and hopefully we have a few of them. This is more Buddy Bear market. It's the bear that raids the moonshine and now is doing this sort of drunken walk all over the place.
Okay.
You see the market jumping up and down, and sort of like Willie Woo said.
Yeah. Hopefully we don't see a Mike Ditka bear market where the BTC just crashes because things are thrown to the ground. Anyways, guys, we need more subscribers. And in fact, Mr. FOMO is giving away free information, and the people didn't come in and subscribe. So let's show those people what they missed. Subscribe, hit share. Let's hit the like button. Let's get our subscribers going. So if you're watching the show tonight, please share with anyone that might be interested in crypto, is already in crypto. Let's get our shares up. Let's really build this program all together. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Have a great evening. We'll see you guys later in the week.
See ya.